passage 3. It has 3 questions, question number 13 to question number 15. In this passage, the author talks about how our government agencies deserve more autonomy, how there is a need for a paradigm shift in this approach and operational freedom be given to persons in the field, and how India needs to learn from some advanced countries such as Britain, New Zealand, Australia, and especially the author talks about Britain, which took the lead in reforming public services. And at the end, the author does say what will be the benefits of such a move by the Indian government. Now, question number 13. According to the passage, which of the statements given above is or are correct? Now, one says a few developed nations want to recondition their bureaucratic structure. Now, this part makes it incorrect. They don't want to, they have already reconditioned according to the passage. So one is factually incorrect. Britain was very late in implementing bureaucratic reforms. The author praises Britain for being one of the pioneers in this field and in this regard of giving more autonomy to executive agencies. And there is no mention in the passage that Britain was late or early. Hence, both of them are incorrect. Our answer is option D. Next one, what is the central idea of the passage? The options make it an easy question because option A says restructuring of the bureaucratic structure in developed countries. That's not the central idea. That's just an example, which is a lesson for India to emulate. Option B says problem of centralization of power. The entire passage goes against it. He says that, the orthodox does talk about the problems of centralization of power and how decentralization is a good thing for India. But that's not the focus of the author's writing. The focus of the author's writing is how India can learn from the other countries or some of the developed countries and how India needs a performance-based organizations. So option C is the central idea of the passage. Now question number 15, it says with reference to the passage, which of the assumptions given above is or are invalid? Now an assumption is valid when it affects the conclusion. India may draw inspiration from other countries who have created performance-based organization. Now the word may here is incorrect. The author says that they clearly needs to draw inspiration. There is no doubt in the mind of the author while he writes this passage that India has to, or India should draw inspiration. So the word may is a bit misleading here, doesn't look like a valid assumption. Option 2, field workers should be given the independence to implement programs and operational schemes. If this becomes false, the entire passage becomes false. The author supports why they should be given more independence, more autonomy in taking their own decision, and the author clearly mentioned in the beginning of the the passage. Hence 2 is a correct assumption. If it becomes false, the entire conclusion becomes false. So our answer is A, 1 only. 1 is not a valid assumption.